Hi guys, and welcome back to the desktop for another retro RPG. First of all, I'd like to apologise for the slightly messed up lighting. The bulb behind me has blown, and the only replacement I had is far inferior, so we're left with light over here, no light here. But I've tried to set up as best so you can make out what I'm presenting, which this week is this. Millennium's End. A role-playing game by Chameleon Eclectic. I used to forever, in my younger years, call it S-Electic, but it's Eclectic. It came out in 1990. 1991 it was actually released. Now, it's a bit of a weird one. It's kind of like Cyberpunk without the cyber. Maybe a bit James Bond. The players play a team of secret agent types who are sent on missions, but it's in the near future, so they will be faced against problems involving clones and all that. The world is kind of breaking down a bit in a cyberpunk kind of way, but there are no cybernetics you can get. There's lots of computer hacking and things like that, but no cybernetics. As I said, cyberpunk without the cyber. It's a bit punky, it's a bit James Bond, it's pretty interesting. This is the first edition game. They did release a second before the company went out of business, and nothing really more was heard of it after that. The artwork isn't great. It all looks very faded, pencil work. One of the points that I absolutely adore of the game, though, are these. Now, if I dig further back in the book, we can find interesting, clear charts, which you can see are the scatter of an attack. So when you're attacking something, be it a dog, a person crouching, somebody running, there's various ones throughout. You then choose where you're shooting them, and depending on how well you rolled, the bullets scatter. So you can hit them exactly where you want, and it would appear to be best to try and aim at everybody's crotch. But you can see if you end up winging them in the arm, missing, depending on the strength of your roll. It's not a random hit table, it's totally skill-based. So the better you are, the more likely you are to hit. But it's kind of fun that you've got all these wee charts. So somebody lay prone is actually far harder to hit because lots more bullets miss. Aiming at everybody's crotch does stand a chance of hitting them better, whereas if you're aiming at their head, you really stand a good chance of missing. To me, it's the go-to demonstratable rule in this game, that you get lots of little pictures of people in different poses and you get to shoot at them. The game itself is fairly standard. It sets up the world. Things are a bit chaotic. I believe the main headquarters for you is in Miami. They had various source books, which I will drag out and I'll show you now. Let me put the sheets back away tidily. So I have a pile of books here. First of all, I have Nightwalker: The Villi Affair, which is 3 assignments, even though it's only 2 names. So we've got The Wake of the Sagittarian, where somebody hires your agency for you to sneak on board a ship and steal some information. You need to get cargo off the ship before it comes into port. Now, the guy's claiming to be an ordinary businessman, that somebody's put some illicit cargo in for customs to find, and you have to get it off to avoid him being branded as a arms dealer. I believe it's arms. Nightwalker, where somebody has stolen a giant security robot thing. That, I'm sure there's a better picture of it somewhere if I flick through. Yep, you can see a wee drawing of it. It's like a security robot that somebody's stolen and you have to track it down. Look, more charts of people And the final adventure, Villy is back and he's in trouble again. 2 of his associates have disappeared a week before all 3 go to court. So that's quite fun. There's some nice adventures. I've actually run The Wake of the Sagittarian in a totally different system as a more cyberpunk adventure. Millennium's own GM's Companion. Something I absolutely adore. Lots of resources for different places. Small bar, fast food restaurant, large bar, different places. You know, you can just drag the book out and you've got plans for somewhere. Shopping mall, store, office block, international airport. Just whatever you need. Very much. You can drag out houses, so when the players go and kick somebody's door down to kidnap somebody, you've got plans there. Very, very useful. Corporate, what was that, terrorist camp, marina. A lot of the book is taken up with this. Computer hacking things for computer networks. Some NPCs. It's a nice resource book. It is. And as you can see on the cover, I picked it up after Millennium's End had gone out of print for the princely price of £1. I'd had Millennium's End for a while, but it had not been a really go-to book. I believe I bought this one at the time because I quite fancied it. A couple of other source books, I believe I paid more, but these I went out and just bought for £1, as they were just 4 clear. We've got Terrorist Counter-Terror, or Terror Counter-Terror, also picked up for £1, which goes into how terrorists operate and how governments try and track them down, different ones around the world. Very popular in games at the time. I remember there being something similar for Delta Green, for Call of Cthulhu, where it detailed various security agencies and what they do, which you being secret agents, you'll be working around. And finally, The Medellin Agent, another adventure. Behind enemy lines, the roar of a jet turbines gives way to the din of jungle insects as Colombian Army VH-22 disappears over the trees. We're alone now, in the sweltering slopes of the Cordillera Occidental. These are words I have no chance of pronouncing properly, and I severely apologise to absolutely everybody for my mangling of the language. 50 clicks behind FARC lines, and 10 clicks from the crash site. Okay, so apparently you're trying to track down a crashed vehicle in the jungle. It's all a bit Vietnam. Hotspots in the jungle, fighting terrorists or counter-terrorists or whatever you want to call them. Set futuristic because you've got an Osprey there which wasn't actually flying until after. You've got a bit of an Arnie guy at the front. If we go back to the cover art not being great, her proportions are just weird. What's going on with that leg? Why it's about a deformity, a person with a deformity sneaking on a boat, I have no idea. But anyway, that's Millennium's End, set in the far-off future year of 1999. Bit cyberpunky, bit secret agenty, an interesting mash of the two. If you don't want your players to become superpowered, this was the kind of thing you could have. You've got all the style of Cyberpunk, all the collapsing civilization and gangs and governments fighting in far-off lands that Cyberpunk provides, but without the complexity of everyone becoming a cyber monster and being able to smash everything up. Thank you very, very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing at all. And I will catch you later. Look after yourselves. Bye.